Hello, Misfits, and welcome! Happy Thanksgiving! Today we have a collection of wholesome Reddit stories for you today, all collected by our very own Emily. So we're going to pass that off to her and see what story she has to share today.
Yes, so our first story today is titled, My Mom is So Into Our Game and It's Incredibly Wholesome.
Aw.
Really sweet. It says, my mom, a 50-something-year-old woman who's always been a casual nerd, as in enjoys sci-fi, fantasy movies, but never got deep into nerd culture or ever played any TTRPGs, agreed to join our new D&D group, and she's super into it. She decided to play as a Furbolg barbarian, and she's described her character as being super tall and buff, wearing overalls, and who has red braids. Her name is Daisy the Destroyer. Her backstory is she lost her prized donkey, Petunia, who she always refers to as her ass. It's amazing. In session 1, when she introduced herself, she went with a deep South accent. It was nearly tearing up, relating the tale of her lost ass. The rest of the table was dying with laughter because she did such a phenomenal job. We're all just as into the role-playing, and she fits right in. She expressed concern during a break that she wasn't sure what she was doing, but we reassured her that she's doing great, and I'm so excited for this campaign.
I love
that so much.
That's so funny.
She lost her ass.
She lost her ass. Oh my god.
It's so funny.
She sounds like the coolest mom.
She really does.
Right.
That's amazing. I really want to run a game for like my family someday. But I have a feeling it's going to be like, all right, I know there's a lot of numbers here. I'll just tell you which ones you need at which time. It'll be fine.
Well, I feel like your dad would be super
Yeah, your dad has played before, right?
I think my dad would be into it. I think my mom would get a little lost. My sister and her husband really like games, so maybe they'd be okay. We were playing Betrayal one time, and they were like, is this what it's like to play D&D? Because they're moving their little, like, things around the map and rolling dice. I'm like, I mean...
It's like an entrance game to
it. It's like the basics.
It's like adjacent.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
One of my favorite comments is, I can only hope that one day when you come across Petunia in a villager's pen and ultimately rescue her in a daring heist, your table will have lasting memories of the time they all grabbed Daisy's ass.
I love it.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
Oh, man.
Honestly, it sounds like this mom was like made for this. She's just discovered it a little late.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Especially if she's always been like a sci-fi nerd, you know?
Well, a lot of our parents had to contend with like the satanic panic, you know? So they probably couldn't get into the game, or their parents would like chastise them. So
I know, the fact that my grandma immediately knew what D&D was when I mentioned it says a lot about D&D's reputation when my dad played it.
Yeah. Well, I remember when we started playing, Michael was like, it's like, now, does that have anything to do with it? It was like I know that some people talk about like Satan and devil worship and stuff. I'm like, no. No.
Oh, no.
Shout out Michael.
When we first started, my mom was the same way, and she didn't tell me until like we were a couple years into it. She was like, I was really concerned about you guys when you started this. I was like,
yeah, Mom, we're all worshiping
my friend.
Satan.
Why are you concerned about
your
it?
mom was like, # really worried about this new Emily influence. She seems kind of crazy.
I don't think my parents my dad knew what it was because he had some buddies in college that would play it, and he was like, yeah, that's cool. My mom didn't know, but she's like, whatever makes you happy, sure. And then I think as she's learned more about like what the game is, she's like, that's really cool. That's awesome.
Well, I do think, and I know we've said this before, but the premise of D&D, like getting together with your friends and creating a story all together, it's just so fun.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
And it's
really
like
cool
the only, or like it's so organic, right? You don't get that out of like reading a book or kind of writing a book. I haven't written a book, you have.
Kind of, but like with writing a book, like you decide what the ending is, and like with the game you can hope for a certain ending, but like, you know, it's left up to chance. Yeah, exactly, right? You roll a 1.
Okay.
Oops.
Yeah. Oof. Sometimes it happens. So moving on, our next story is titled Wholesome OP Magic Item Use Saves the DM. And it goes, I was DM in a game with a high magic setting. I'm not going to say the cuss word. I know I've already cussed, but I messed up one time and gave my party an OP hourglass item, which makes you able to rewind time only once.
Oh.
There were some limitations and a passive thing they could use it for as long as they did not rewind time. I'm a little confused, but this was given as a random magic item from a book of mine with lots of tabs, and I was making them gamble for a magic item. So it essentially sounds like they just said, oh, here it is. I rolled a number, and this is what you get off of the table.
Gotta be careful.
Whew. So careful. When it came into play, I was like, okay, whatever. I'll roll with it as it goes. Only about 2 sessions in with this hourglass item, my players were caught in a long coming session of them having to charm a princess because they'd heard a rumor about her looking for a new prince. They all had their time with the princess, and lastly, my dumb Goliath fighter failed a check and agreed with the bard, who was kind of his wingman at this point, to just use the hourglass to rewind that specific interaction with the princess because he now knew the answer to her question. At least it's not like a world-ending use of it, or like a game.
That could be so
true.
So much worse.
Yeah. Okay, so it continues. It turned out he rolled and won his interaction, but in the end, she revealed to him that she was into woman, as well as had a heart for adventure, and her father was refusing this behavior. She asked our beloved Goliath fighter to think of an escape plan for her. In the end, they accepted her side quest to get her out in the world with a plan to please the king with an urgent matter first. I'm glad that they thought of the item for this and gave them inspiration as well as for saving the day for the DM later. So I guess that's like really wholesome.
Yeah.
They used it to help out this character.
I like it. I dig
but
it.
But it could have gone so bad.
You gotta be careful with time magic, man. You gotta be super careful.
It's like, well, you know.
I mean, campaign 1. You told me, you're like, I want to do this.
I really did. At least I talked to you about it, though. I was very much.
Yeah. And you were like, I want to, like, my goal is to go back in time and save my parents. Like, whether I achieve that goal or not, whatever. But you told me, you were very clear about what your goal was. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna figure this out. I only gave y'all really the chance to actually screw with time once, so.
Yeah. I also really want to specify spoilers for campaign 2 of Critical Role. Came up with that before campaign 2, any of that was revealed. Yes. So, minor spoilers. I'm not going to say characters or any of that, but yeah. Which was kind of crazy when we were watching the finale. I was like, this is insane.
I know. Well, and there's some stuff happening. There's some stuff happening in campaign 3 that's a little adjacent to some of our world problems as well. I would like to preface, had my ideas first.
Well, not even world ideas. Like, there's kind of a character idea that's similar too.
Yeah.
And again, you came up with that before that started.
One day I'll meet Matt Mercer and we'll just duke it out. We'll just fight each other to see who gets to stay.
Put it on pay-per-view.
Man, Marisha would beat the shit out of me, though.
I literally, oh my gosh, at lunch today, speaking of being super weak, I showed up to lunch with, Joe and then some other friends. And I was trying to pull the bench up to the table and I was struggling, y'all. And instead of saying, shut up, I'm weak, I said, shut up, I'm poor. And then I said, wait, I'm weak. I mean, I'm both.
Oh, man.
And, yeah. I am very weak.
That music
I'm
teacher
aware.
life, man.
Truly.
Oh, no.
Okay, moving on.
All right.
Next one. Just some wholesome celebration. And then it goes, I had a really not great experience the first time I played. The DM was used to murder hobos and pure combat campaigns and straight up said, the goal for this campaign is to see how long you can survive, not to tell a story. Which is totally fine, but also definitely not with this bunch of people with extremely limited experience we're looking for. Add to that an extremely flaky party member, and that's a perfect recipe for an abandoned campaign. I'm sure we can all relate to that. Thankfully, that DM agreed that we just weren't meshing well, and we were able to reconnect with a friend who was totally down to do a campaign that was more narrative driven, and we've been playing consistently for about 2 years now. I'm just really grateful for that our group gets to play a game we all love in a way we all love with people we love. That's all, folks.
Man,
Aw.
it's so nice when, like, you just know it's going to happen. You just know the game is going to happen. You know the story is going to get completed. Like, that's all anybody wants.
Yeah. I will say, and we've said it before, we got really freaking lucky with this group.
So lucky.
We really did.
So lucky.
It took work to get there.
It did.
It took a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like, we're not perfect people. You know, we had to sort of, like, figure out how to make it work. But I like to think we've, for the most part, figured that out. It also helps that we're just not horrible individuals.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all pretty good. We don't get, like, excessively drunk or high when we play or anything like that.
No.
No one's cussing each other out or...
We're not, like, offensive, you know?
Yeah.
Weird stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, last one.
Last one.
And this is my favorite of the batch. Wholesome use of the dream spell. I've been having a lot of fun in my campaign, but by God, is it depressing. Like, so depressing you can't make this shit up. We've had one PC character beg for death, another PC watch multiple of his friends die, and another PC accidentally wish his sister out of existence in an attempt to keep her safe. Yeah.
I would cry.
My new character. Oh, I know. I would cry too. Like, we all get so into our characters and our backstories and stuff.
Our game's been pretty bleak too. Like, it's been.
It
It has.
Sometimes I'm very concerned.
We're terrified. Literally last week we were like, will it be a TPK? We'll find out.
Was it?
Not quite. Well, I don't know. I guess kind
Hard
of,
to say.
I don't know. Anyway, continuing. My new character, my character was the original one that begged for death, is a wizard that started out as a bit of a dick. They didn't trust anyone in the party and they definitely acted out. But my character is starting to notice how sad everyone is and has decided to put their powers to good use. Every night, my character casts the dream spell on one character just so it's guaranteed that they're not having a nightmare. The dream is an innocuous, fun little scene where a character gets to do something they enjoy with someone that they love. No subconscious information gathering or Inception style idea planning, just a defense against nightmares. It started when a character went insane using the contact of their plane spell. The fallout was so bad a character nearly died, causing the caster to go into a deep depression. Being a divination wizard, my character could guarantee passing the saving throw, so they got the information by casting it themselves and sent the information using Dream. Since then, my character has only been sending good dreams to their teammates. My character currently still has the reputation of being a dick, but I've asked my DM to not say anything so no one will suspect me. If all goes well, no one will ever know, so I just wanted to get that off my chest here.
Wow.
That's like really cute. And
Isn't
like
it?
Also,
such a bleak campaign.
what the hell is happening in their game? Good God.
I know. I really want like a campaign, like
I thought ours was
overlay, like
bad.
tell me everything.
That sounds depressing as hell.
Oh man.
Oh man. That's a nice use of that spell though.
Yeah.
Right?
I've made
It's
y'all
kind of
so
like
paranoid about dreaming that y'all will occasionally use certain races to avoid them.
True.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
most of us still. I mean, the elves still have to dream for 4 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Revan
I
gets a
added the
boost in
mechanic.
dreams, so
I added that just so I could get him to dream.
oh really?
That's
Yeah.
literally the only reason why I gave him that. I know it was sort of like, you keep going down in fights, so here's a way to, like, boost your HP. No, it's just so I can give backstory through dreams.
I mean, fair enough.
Oh, man.
I mean, if it works, it works.
Yep.
There's this one comment. It says, "And when your character is killed in the dream, stop. ...
Oh,
Look, in that kind of story, that's entirely possible.
that would break
Right?
me. That would be so
Oh
sad.
man.
But good. But sad.
Oh man.
That's like an important thing. Like, you know, sometimes you sign up to be in like a bleaker sort of campaign. That's the sort of story you want to go with. I mean, we did Curse of Strahd. We knew what that would be going into it. But there is still something so important about figuring out how to, like, insert levity and balance tone, even when it's like a gritty story. You need those moments where things are a little nicer or if things are funny. Like, it's necessary, because otherwise I don't think you would enjoy the other stuff as much if you don't have that, you know.
Oh, definitely.
Agreed. And I'm always a sucker for the, like, dickish kind of character having little soft moments that nobody knows about. Like, I always love that.
For sure.
So big fan of that.
For sure. Well, these were lovely. A lovely set of stories, yet again. Audience, if you enjoyed these stories, if you have some wholesome stories of your own that you would like to share or have any comments about the ones that were shared today, please feel free to comment down below. Also, you can, of course, always support the channel by liking and subscribing. All of that stuff really helps us out. But with all of that said and done, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, a great Thanksgiving, if you're in the States and you're celebrating that, or just a great rest of your week, and I will see you again next time. Thanksgiving. Today we have another Reddit video for you today. These are all a collection of wholesome D&D stories that our very own Emily has... I just hit my table. Today, let's do all of that again. Without me hitting my desk and everything shaking.